I'm very fortunate to have Alastair, Catto, and Aytek Aman with me. They are the co-founders of the Deepscope Ultrasound Simulator. We're here to simulate a interactive virtual ultrasound training session. Want to orient a lot of you to what's going on here. Actually, both Aytek, Alastair, and I were able to use the session code here at the right lower corner to join in from the app. So now you see that their probe color correspond to the color of the person. So mine is pink, Alastair is blue, Aytek is orange. You can see that their probe are now on the person's body at the same time. So the eye icon here is indicating that we can see the probe. The circle icon here is to show which of the ultrasound image is being seen. So right now I am actually in the so-called instructor on the desktop version of this app. And now, right now with the circle next to mine, I am now the learner are seeing only my ultrasound image and not the others. So let's say if I want to start doing a teaching session first, and before the learners use the ultrasound probe, then I'll take off all the probe except mine, and I'll keep the ultrasound image on active on my computer screen. And so then now let's I'm going to show, this is how you do like a subcostal view. So let's say you now move the probe down to the xiphoid area. Right now, I'm using the computer control for the time being. And now I want to then have your indicator rotating to about 3 o'clock as a start. And we want to make sure your probe is near the center of the xiphoid area. And right now, because the beam is shining perpendicular to the chest, all we are seeing is the liver, the IVC, the aorta, and I guess this is the diaphragm that is shown here. You can show the learner what the cut is like. Here's a beam. I can take the skin out, so I know that like I'm only seeing the organ. I can zoom in so that you can see what's going on this a little bit more clearly with the 3D augmented reality here. I can even cut the slides and it's telling you that this is what we're cutting at perpendicular to the body. And I can even rotate this live to see that this is the cut that I'm looking at. So now I can rotate back out. Put this back on. Let's take this out, put the skin in. So I can move this body back. So now to get a subcostal view, you want to tilt or fan, depending on which term the instructor wants to use, with the ultrasound beam pointing more to the anterior part of the body. Right now, I'm only seeing the ventricles, and so I know you're gonna have to tilt more. And now there's a subcostal view. Okay, so and so just for the for you to see where the beam is shining. So here's a beam shining, and now let's take off the skin. So now we're looking at this heart. This is where the beam is shining from the bottom up, from the diaphragm up, covering mostly initially the right side of the heart first. And so if I take this off, and so now you see this is where the beam is shining, starting with the ultrasound beam hitting onto the right ventricle and a little bit part of the RA, and then more posteriorly toward the left atrium and the left ventricle. And I can turn this around for folks who want to see the actual cross-section view, for example. Okay. So now I'm going to rotate this back. Okay. Okay. So now let's have So now let's invite some learners to play. So now let's say I'm going to take mine off. So Aytek, so now I'm going to allow Aytek to join in only. So Aytek, why don't you go ahead and see if you can get the same view?
Yep, sure.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So I think I'm getting closer.
Fantastic. Outstanding. And I can even free this image. Let's freeze this. Now I can even freeze this image. And then now I can see, now once I freeze this image, now I can even show the learner, this is all the good work that Aytek just did, right? He cut it perfectly, for example. Just for the sake of fun. So now let's even have Alastair, why don't you join in? So now I'm going to take off Aytek and let's let Alastair try to get the same view and not to have people. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, great. Right, so
let me show his probe on. There you go. Good. He'll even rock a little bit to get the image center. Perfect. Beautiful. Great job. So, and if you want to turn this into madness, we can have both all the probes going on at once for the sake of fun, right? Like have all the probes on. The only thing that in this situation is that right now we will only be able to see the ultrasound screen of Aytek while the other learners are having their probe and just having their fun time. So now you can see all the probe are moving, though the only one that you are seeing with the ultrasound screen is just Aytek. And so let's say right now you want to see what happened to my probe separately, then I can toggle to just show my screen and say, okay, so this is what Gigi is goofing off while other people are playing. Or let's say, let me see what Alastair is doing while the rest of the group is practicing a little bit. Then I can click on the ultrasound screen for Alastair and now see, oh, he's completely off the track for the subconscious view. And so then you can kind of, not the call spy, but kind of check up on learner on what they're doing. So this might be a session where now that I finished teaching them the subconscious view, they can go explore a little bit, they can move around, and then I can spot check on them on how they're doing individually on their ultrasound screen. Then I can also then say, all right, so now that we are all finished practicing, now let's just see what Aytek can do. And so then I'm now only allowing everyone to see what Aytek is doing and other people can still practice on their own without showing anything on their screen. Great, so now we are only seeing Aytek doing. Aytek, you're all the way off. Please slide all the way back to the sci-fi area. Sweep a little lower toward the feet. There you go. Now you can tilt with the ultrasound beam pointing to the anterior chest of the body. Great, strong work.